Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back to my YouTube channel. And if you're new, hi, my name is Lisa and I love everything colorful makeup, especially indie brands. And welcome to episode number 3 for music inside the makeup. And I have chose Kiss. You can't get any more hardcore, in my opinion, old school rock and roll, rock metal than these guys right here. I love Kiss. I grew up listening to Kiss. You know, I think there's music inside of everything. And music is one commonality that the whole world has. So no matter our differences, no matter our different opinions or our politic views or any of that kind of shit, music is going to be the one thing that people will have in common. Now, there's different genres, of course, different tastes, but there's always that commonality. And so, you know, when I started this, I was like, yeah, the love of music and just putting two of my passions together. Well, two of a few. I love Harley Davidson, as you guys know if you've been with me. I do ride. But music and makeup, I'm like, yeah, those are two things, putting them together that I thought people would really enjoy. Here we are, episode 3. I chose Kiss, and the song that I chose is Heaven's on Fire. I didn't want to choose a song with just like repetitive, you know what I mean? I wanted to choose a song, but you always hear, you know, I wanna rock and roll all night. You know, you always hear that one. Don't hear Heaven's on Fire too often. Of course, as you can see behind me, I love Glamlite. I do. Packaging, so of course, because I love Kiss, and when they did this, I lost my friggin' mind. And I got the whole PR package. Unfortunately, even though the packaging is fire, the formula in this one is probably the worst formula that Glamlite has put out. Is it horrible? No, it's not horrible. But is it the best of what we know that Glamlite can do? No, definitely not. Unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. This is the look that I created and that you and I are going to recreate on this eye here. And I'm going to talk about the band, the history of the band. I will hopefully be able to try to figure out to insert said song without getting a copyright. So hopefully I will be able to put Heaven's on Fire as an inlay in here when we're doing the look. But I'm just going to show you the palette if you have not seen it. It came, you know, the mirror, and there's the package right there that it came in. This is the palette from Glamlite, the Kiss collection. I really love how they did this whole thing for Kiss. The bag, the lenticular motion. So inside here, again, lenticular motion, right? America's #1 gold record award-winning group of all time. And of course, lenticular, which I think is badass. And if you haven't seen it, here's the color story. Nice mirror, the band's right here. A color for each of the band members. And here's the back. I just think they did really great. Again, the mirror, Kiss Army. I really liked the Demon, you know, Gene Simmons. They were very theatrical, and the whole makeup and the costumes, you know, the elaborate lighting, using dry ice and smoke bombs, and, you know, back in the 70s, like, it was a thing. It was a thing. I'm going to talk about the band. When we recreate this look over here together, I will try to put Heaven's on Fire and let that play as, you know, in the background. That's what I'm hoping. So I'm going to put my glasses on, and we're going to talk about the history of the band. And all of this is, you know, public knowledge on Spotify. This is where I get all of my information about the bands. If you click About down below on the artist page, it goes into the whole history, for the most part, about the band. here we go. As I go, get better, and I'll figure out things on how to make this better. But it seems like people have really been enjoying it. I'm at 395 subscribers, and I can't believe that. You know, I've been on here for a little over 5 months, 5.5 months. So to me, that's amazing. And I thank every single one of you. So thank you so much. And right now, I'm going to talk about the band. So it's Kiss, baby. It's Kiss. And with 59 listeners, fans on Spotify, and counting, including myself, okay? On Spotify. So rooted in the theatrics of Alice Cooper and the sleazy hard rock of glam rockers, New York Dolls, Kiss became a favorite of American teens in the 70s. Most were infatuated with the look of Kiss, not so much their music at first glance. So decked out in outrageously flamboyant costumes and makeup, the band fashioned an amazing stage presence and show, featuring dry ice, smoke bombs, elaborate lighting, blood spitting. That was Gene Simmons' iconic thing, you know, his iconic move with that. And fire breathing that captivated the imaginations of thousands of kids. But Kiss's music could not be dismissed. It is a commercially potent mix of fist-pounding, hard rock driven by sleek hooks, and ballads powered by loud guitars, sweet melodies, and sweeping strings. It was a sound that laid the groundwork for both arena rock and pop metal that dominated in the late 80s. In 1983, the band unmasked their makeup, resulting in the platinum-selling LP of the same name, but then reapplied their makeup just a decade later. Since then, the Rock and Roll Hall of Famers have remained a potent live draw and have sold over 75 million records worldwide, with highlights via influential efforts like Alive, Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun, Dynasty, and Look It Up. This was the brainchild of Gene Simmons. He plays bass, if you don't know, bass and vocals. Paul Stanley, again, vocals, rhythm guitar, who former members of the New York rock band Wicked Lester. The duo brought in Peter Criss, which is the drummer and vocals, through his ad in Rolling Stone, while guitarist Ace Frehley responded to an ad in The Village Voice. Even their first Manhattan concert in 1973, the group's approach was theatrical. Kiss later released their self-titled debut in February 1974. It peaked at number 87 on the US charts. By April of 1975, the group had released 3 albums and had been touring America constantly, building up a sizable fan base known as the Kiss Army, which is also a membership fan club. Alive, released in the fall of 1975, which is the year I was born, made the band rock and roll superstars, climbed into the top 10, and its accompanying single, Rock and Roll All Night, made it to number 12. Their follow-up, Destroyer, was released in March of 1976, which became the group's first platinum album. It also included Peter Criss's power ballad, Beth. I love that song. I do. I love that song, which was the first top 10 single. The Kiss Army, the band's fan club, was in the 6 figures, y'all. Just their fan club alone. Are you kidding? Oh my God. The band in 1978, all 4 decided to release solo albums on the same day in October. Jeans was the most successful, yet all of them made it into the top 50. Chris left the band in 1980. Kiss unmasked in the summer of 1980 a new drummer, Anton Fig. However, Chris's true replacement, Eric Carr, joined the band in 1980, just in time for their world tour in 80. Ace Frehley left the band, and Vinnie Vincent took his place in 1982. Kiss released Lick It Up in 1983, but Vincent left after the album Animalize and was replaced by Mark St. John. Unfortunately, St. John had soon took ill with, I think it's called writer's syndrome, and left the band. Bruce Kulick, I think I'm saying that right, became Kiss's new lead guitarist in 1984 for a decade. The early ballad Forever in 1990 was their biggest single since Beth. Unfortunately and sadly, Eric Carr had passed away from cancer in November 1991 at the age of 41. Kiss had hired a replacement, Eric Singer. In 1996, the original lineup of Kiss, Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss, reunited to perform an international tour, complete with their makeup and special effects. This tour was one of the most successful of 1996, and in 98, the reunited group birthed Psycho Circus. Excuse me. Kiss announced in the spring of 2000 that they would be launching a U.S. farewell tour in the summer. That'd be the one, y'all. That would be the one that I was supposed to go. With the band ready to call it a day, supposedly, by late 2001, a mammoth box set, and I do remember this box set too, was set for release later that year. In 2008, they returned to the studio, re-recorded all of their hits, and released Kissology, or Kiss Classics. However, this release was initially exclusive to Japan, I guess. In the spring of 2009, the band began recording their first album in 11 years and released Sonic Boom in October, which exclusively was distributed by Walmart in North America. In 2012, the band's 20th album, Monster, surfaced, rewriting the cowbell-heavy party rock of their 70s heyday and adding some nods to the sinister metal of 1992's Revenge. 2014, after 15 years of eligibility, Kiss was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Period. In 2017, a single disc, Best of Kiss World, was released to coincide with a massive world tour of the same name. The tour, which the band announced would be their final jaunt, renamed the End of the Road Tour. And in true Kiss fashion, it is still going strong as of 2021. Now, of course, I'm citing this from Spotify, from Stephen Thomas, Erwin and Greg Prato-Rovi. What can you say? They're legends in their own right. Their music has been influential in so many upcoming bands after them in, the 80s, 90s, 2000s. I guarantee you, if you ask any metalhead or any metal band that had started, I guarantee you one of them, if you were to ask them who was their, influence, and I guarantee you at least one would say Kiss for sure. You know what I mean? Hopefully I'll be able to put Heaven's on Fire while we recreate this look here. And let's get to it, y'all. So, okay, I'm going to use my Kiss Army mirror. And here's the lipstick. Again, I think they did a great job. And then on the bullet, and then it has like little stars or lightning bolts and whatnot on it. A really pretty matte red. that definitely, like, you know, Paul Stanley would wear. Star Child, yeah. My lid is already primed, so just make sure there's no creasing. So I've created looks with, you know, all 4 rows, the blues, the greens, purples, the reds. And I found that this red, it's very bright. This is more purpley than it is red, which sucks because, and you can see that this look looks more purple than it does red. You know, these are buildable, but when I first got this collection and I was super excited to do a red look and found out that this just comes out, especially when you blend it out, definitely more pinky, you know what I mean? So, let's see here. Even though I've already completed this, just right in my socket to make it more red, because that is initially what I wanted. See, that looks so much better. You know what I mean? It's still, it's red, but it's not the red that I really want. It's really bright. I just wish it was a little bit of a darker red as I'm touching this up, because I think it just looks a little bit better now that I'm kind of re-intensifying. It's a learning curve. I'm still practicing. I'm still like practicing with reds. And I love the way, like if I'm wearing red clothing, I love the way that red looks on me because of my skin tone, right? But if it's not a blue-based kind of red, I don't know. I get iffy about it. Let's go on to recreating this, hopefully the best that I can anyway. But here we go. Oh, I don't have any creasing. So I started with putting this red right in the socket and I built it up. So now I've just pressed and blended that a little bit. So after the red, I went into this color here. So I'll tell you the names. This is, the red is the Demon, of course. And then these 2 shimmers, this is Firehouse. This is Axe. And I'm going to go into Love It Loud. And then this black is Black Diamond. I had started this by putting it, slanting it inward on both sides like this. And then kind of joining this red, this plummy red with the red. Okay, I just went off camera and I kind of just finished off the look. Basically, I just didn't put a lash on. I put a lash on here and no lash here, but I put on mascara, black liner. And yeah, this was episode 3, music inside the makeup. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoy music inside the makeup. This was with the Glamlite Kiss collection, the palette, using the red, which was of course the Demon, which did rank low, you know, when I ranked my Glamlite. Like I said, Kiss Army Mirror is awesome. And then of course the lip kit, which is what I'm wearing as well, which is kind of bleeding out. So again, as far as like the eyeshadow, not the best of Glamlite formula, no. And this to me is more pink than red, and which is turning out to be pink and purple more so than red and black. But you know, it is what it is. I still think it came out pretty badass. I still need practice with red and pinks. They're just not my go-tos. But again, I hope you joined me. I hope you grabbed your palette, a red palette, and your brushes. I hope that you joined me and recreated this look. I hope you had fun. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I hope you guys really do love these. And I hope to see you again. And if you're new, hopefully you subscribe. Please do give the video a big thumbs up. And comment, say hi. I'd love to hear from you. And let me know, do you love Kiss? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever seen them in concert? I'd love to hear all about that. I would love to read about that. So with that, I hope to see you guys next month for Music Inside the Makeup episode 4. But I'm not going to tell you who the band is. You're just going to have to watch and find out. So with that, you guys, keep rocking. Thank you for watching. Till next time.